Hello, beautiful people. It is your girl, Miss Conti, and as stated before, I am back with another video. Today's video is another video on self. We, as a self, as a collective, as humans, as creatures, whatever you want to call yourselves, in our deep desires and just everything that comes with the depth of being a person. I hope that makes sense. I don't know. But I am a person who very much lives in a bubble. The bubble being my conscience, my mind to analyze and critically think about things that are connected to everyday tasks, behaviors, mannerisms, beliefs, movements, patterns. I'm into all of that. Studying a person's way of life and movement. So, let's focus here. The other day I was watching a series on Disney, not sponsored, called Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Now this is season 2. And on this episode, I believe it was episode 5, Percy is accompanied by Annabeth, and they are on this quest. I won't get into a bunch of details for those of you who've never seen it and are interested in watching. I will not spoil anything. But for context, Percy and Annabeth are demigods, son and daughter of Greek god and a Greek goddess. They are not siblings, they just come from similar backgrounds, if you will. They were presented with an opportunity to face their fatal flaws by way of a mirror, like a physical mirror. And I know in my previous video, I touched on growth and evolving oneself, which looks different for everybody, right? At some point, you do have to face the mirror. I mean, we always talk about evolving and growing, these journeys of expansion. But there comes a time in your life where you can no longer ignore the elephant or elephants in the room. You face all that hinders you. I mean, only if you truly desire, real positive change. Because if you don't, then this conversation or subject is not even for you. But please do stick around. And looking in the mirror is really hard. Especially when all your patterns have, yielded the same stagnant results that you're familiar with, so it also seems safe. In reality, it's not. But it's all you know. And there's nothing wrong with that. You have to start somewhere. So then the question comes, why are we afraid of facing the mirror, looking at ourselves, in the ugliest form? I mean, what is possible with just a little bit of healthy efforts, just trying to change the patterns of the stagnancy? Or do we just decide to just stay the same and pity and wallow in this space we really don't want to be in just because that's all we know. And the outside is too scary. We're not ready for those battles. So, these are the things that plague my mind, honestly. Familiar isn't always peaceful, What are you afraid of in terms of change and really getting in tune and invested in our deepest fears? And sometimes these lead to traumas. And I know that can be a hard thing to face, because we have to relive. Now, some things are really a hard pill to swallow, but with enough strength, it can be done. So, what's hidden behind this mask? Do we believe that outsiders can't see? Do we truly believe that? Or possibly it doesn't even matter. And that is very much a thing. Because it doesn't matter. It has to matter to someone. Anybody. And that anybody or that someone is yourself. And if you don't care, why do you not care? Let's tap into that. Why don't you care? What caused that? And let's dive into that. Or maybe you do care. And sometimes opinions, good, bad, indifferent, we must understand it will always come. It will always flow. It is always going to be a thing. You have to truly live for yourself and what you believe, and at least try to see what that narrative will look like outside of the current one, at least once, and see what happens. I feel that it'll turn into something very beautiful. I just feel like you should always, at the very least, be the realest with yourself and your own dysfunction and dissatisfaction, and channel that into something that takes you out of that space and really experience life through that new narrative, and allow grace to evolve wholeheartedly. Confront your pain, our past, and our truest self. Oh my gosh, it's so terrifying and triggering at the same time, but it's like a rush. It's a burst of relief. It's almost like taking a new breath in a different space. And it's not always positive, people. Sometimes that breath can be a little tainted with some smog in the air. And I get that. But it does clear. You have to see what works to better yourself. You are unlearning what you knew to learn what you didn't know. And I personally believe it's a prerequisite to growth. You have to work through it piece by piece, day by day. Yes, it will feel like life is consuming you, leaving you in a state of uncertainty, isolation, and cycles of stagnancy. But you are growing. Question everything that leads to a root of the flaw that you possess. I'm not asking you to forget, but memorialize what once was and bury it. It's a version of you, yes, but it's time to upgrade. Now, let's pump the brakes here, okay? So let's backtrack real quick to Percy and Annabeth in this series that I'm watching. They met a sorceress, okay? I know some people are into the whole witchy thing, and I get that in mythology and fantasy and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of things do correlate to real life, and you have to know how to pull what is useful and leave what is not. Take everything at face value and apply it to where it fits. And this sorcerer, or this witch, whatever you want to call it, revealed this mirror. And this mirror would show whomever is standing in front of it their fatal flaw, which is defined as a deep-rooted personality defect or weakness in a character. You are the character, okay? As if this was a video game and you are picking your person for battle, and you have a short description of the strength and weaknesses. We are focusing on the weakness. And these are unchecked flaws, lead you to your downfall or destruction. And there are roughly 6 main fatal flaws, and honestly, these all break down into a bunch of subcategories, and we all have them in us. Some are more dominant than others, and we're focusing on the dominant of your hot messness, of my hot messness. Okay? Hubris, overconfidence. I mean, just arrogance is following, okay? Personal loyalty. That means doing anything for loved ones. Like when they say jump, you saying how high, and you brought a ladder and some jump shoes, trampoline, like you doing it all. That's your personal loyalty. And self-doubt, holding back on your own potential. I must say, I am personally guilty of this one. And I slept on myself for such a long time. And I am waking up. But this is a journey. It's not a race. And we get there when we get there. And perfectionism. Also, a little guilty of. But you're so analytical that nothing actually gets done. You fixate on the details so much that the execution is never completed. You may have executed in your mind in a subconscious matter, but on a physical, material plane possibly, and occasionally spiritual, you have not executed anything. You're still in the same spot. Jealousy and greed are always accompanied by destruction. Jealousy and greed is, I feel like, the lowest of the low. That root can sometimes be so deep and so huge that it's almost impossible to remove. But this is where being content with yourself comes in. And always you need boundaries with yourself and with others. Which leads me to self-sacrificing. Putting others before or above oneself and own desires. We want to seem like the hero in everyone's story, and we don't even have a hero in ours. You sacrifice yourself all the time, and you don't get things back. And you do it from the goodness of your heart, and you wonder why things just don't work out. You don't understand, why does it seem like everybody else is receiving those blessings? And it's because you are that blessing. You are that blessing, my love. And you have to give that blessing to yourself. And personally speaking, I used to be in this character flaw in the early stages of my life. And I found myself at the same door every time. Until one day I decided to open that door to see where it takes me. And I've been on that journey ever since. And on my channel, eventually I will speak on certain things that got me to where I am and how I feel and believe and see and plan to go. Because I know myself in my heart. And I just want others to get there too. I feel that's how things will one day be harmonious, even if it's a small group of people that are on that wavelength. Pull each other up, pull yourself up at least. Your character weakness is your positive trait taken too far. A sign we are not aligned in God's image of rationality and morality. In the real world, it can look like a person filled with revenge displayed as obsession over failed moments in life, sabotaging opportunities because of the opinions of others, community ties, and priority, and any obligations. Here's a big one. Having the inability to learn from past mistakes and expecting different damn results. The journey of discovering what can grow from the compost of your impediments has beautifully left space to expand on positive and beneficial strengths. Baby, this is literally your saving grace. Yes, expect much resistance with self. You've been unbalanced for so long that there's a lot to unpack. It's not a race, so take your time. Rebuild your temple with high honor. Speak life over your space. Raise the price on your energy. Then, my friend, just watch how things begin to bloom. Now, guys, these are just my personal views and thoughts from my life experience, my observation of others, the world, cultures, just a melting pot of ideas and thoughts and all kinds of thought-provoking knowledge. And anything I say should be taken with a grain of salt. But if it is applicable to your life, please utilize it. I believe in prosperity in others. And always trust yourself. You know, yourself knows best. You have a internal compass that'll lead you to where you are supposed to be. So if it doesn't feel right, it is not right. It is not for you. And sooner than later, you will be uprooted from there. Best to act before it is done in an uncomfortable manner, but best believe you will be uprooted from the position that you do not belong in. So trust yourself and be better than yesterday. I speak for the underdogs, those who value new perspectives, and those who challenge social norms, the black sheeps of the family, the outcasts, the ones that don't quite know where they belong, but they know they belong somewhere doing something. I talk for them because I am them. And as always, I love you guys. Those of you who does support, subscribe, like, whatever the case is, I thank you. This is a journey, and I believe in honesty. But we'll talk soon. Take care of yourself, challenge yourself, and